Hey everyone, it's the Cody Tarot channel, and this is Cody, your tarot reader. Welcome back to another one of my pick-a-cards. Today's reading is very special. It was suggested by Parvati, and I have my rose quartz here for this today. It is the first impression of your future spouse, soulmate, twin flame, the person you're supposed to be spending this lifetime with. What will be your first impression of them? We're also going to be looking into the situation that you both will be meeting in, along with how you will fall in love, or the first moments that you will fall in love. How do you discover that you fall in love with each other? So we got a lot to get into today. So let's get into the reading. Let's get into the crystals. So the first crystal is this Cyan stone. Just has this like light cyan kind of color to it. The next stone is this clear quartz cluster. So this is group 2. Then we have this snakeskin agate, which is group 3. And lastly, we have this Tiffany stone, which is group 4. All right, guys, so I'll give you a moment right here to pause the video to pick your crystal. Now that you've picked your crystal, let's get on with the reading, starting with group number 1. Okay, group 1, this is if you picked the fuchsite or the cyan stone. So let's get into your reading. So whether you are person A or person B, you're gonna know after we get into the reading a little bit which one you are. But let's start with your first impressions of the other ones for the soulmate connection. So person A, we have the Tower, and person B, we have the Four of Cups. So person A comes off as a very much like a walking disaster. Like person A might be very klutzy, they might fall a lot, they might, kind of like as they walk around, they might break things. They might be kind of like all over the place as far as that goes. Person B is going to come off to person A a little bit kind of like bored, or that they're already completed in life. They don't need any other emotional commitments, kind of like they don't need a relationship. They're going to come off as very like self-sufficient. And it's going to be interesting because I think that initially person A is going to be very intrigued by this cute like tower energy. Because I know it's the Tower, but I'm saying like cute because I'm seeing this as very much like, kind of like this person's like a walking disaster. Like they can barely like function basically by like how they move and interact with the world. So this Four of Cups person definitely like looks at this person out of like kind of like curiosity and wants to know like, how are they like even alive right now? Like they have all these disasters happening around them all the time. How is this even? So they see them out of like a sense of curiosity. And then person A does not think person B is interested in them. So I don't think if you're person A, I don't think you're going to notice that your soulmate is interested in you right away. You're going to see them as very disinterested, and you're not going to notice them just because they're not showing interest in you so overtly. They're definitely interested in you, but they're interested in you in kind of like a basically curious way. I mean, they have pretty much their whole life figured out. It seems like they're pretty confident in like everything that's happened to them. They kind of, where you kind of like first impression don't have any awareness of what life is about or like how to move through life. This person has more of an awareness of like, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. I don't need any more cups. You don't have to give me any more cups. I can just sit here under this tree, meditate, and I know what's going on in life. So, where you guys will meet, how your first meeting will be. So, time for a nap. You both will meet in a very relaxed location. So you'll both have like a lot of downtime. You're not going to be meeting in a work environment, so you won't be meeting this person at work. You won't be meeting them in a high stress time of your life. This will be a time with a lot of downtime. You won't be thinking about a lot of projects you have to do. It'll be very relaxed. Like the meeting will be very, very relaxed, very chill, very zen. So that's good. Let's see what else you guys got here. So 10 of Wands, and Five of Wands. So these cards are basically going to be how you guys get to know each other over the long haul. Now this is very interesting because you meet in this position of like time for a nap where you're both very relaxed and kind of, how do I put this? Very like at ease with each other and there's a relaxed connection. And time for a nap also shows that you guys can really relax into each other when you first meet each other. But as you get to know each other, so person B sees person A is definitely like competitive, and also focused on group building activities. Like if you look at all these guys, they're like climbing this they're like gymnastically climbing these wands, and then they're looking to get this fire. You know, it's all about like achievement through kind of like that friendly peer pressure and competitiveness that pushes all the other ones to their, you know, to their heights. They might be more of like a motivational type person, or just like I see them focused on kind of like group activities. Yeah, where people like them and their friends can like motivate each other and stuff. Over here we see that person A finds person B to be incredibly hardworking, incredibly dedicated, definitely carrying the load, carrying like the weight of like the world on their shoulders. Definitely the type of person who can take on a lot of responsibilities and not be that deeply affected by them, or that they have to take on all of this work. You know, they're definitely not a lazy person, which is interesting because they come off as bored, which could be kind of considered lazy, but they're definitely not lazy. They're very, very hardworking, very dedicated to like achieving everything in their life and moving with their life with a sense of purpose. They might have slight escapist tendencies sometimes. Maybe the work overburdens them at some points and they might escape into like a kind of like certain habit or ritual that like brings them comfort. But over time, you definitely see them as like definitely deserving. Like they definitely deserve to have the breaks that they take, basically. All right, so this is going to be how you guys find out that you love each other. This is going to be the first spark of love where you kind of realize, wow, we love each other. So this says spend quality time together, listen and talk to each other. So even though you guys have like these kind of like hardworking, maybe you guys have very busy lifestyles, and maybe at first there's a sense of curiosity based on the first impression, at least person B looking at person A. How you guys really get to know each other, it kind of links in with time for a nap, that kind of like leisure time. I definitely see you guys as spending that quality time together as very, very significant, very beneficial for you. When you really get to relax with each other and just chill and kind of like zone out and like really get to know each other and really talk about things and really just explore each other's worlds, that's when you guys really come to find that you love each other. Sorry, I keep looking at my camera because it keeps turning off and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so that was your reading. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, you can subscribe to my channel. I post more pick a cards like this pretty frequently. And yeah, I really enjoyed reading for you guys. You have a very like enduring relationship, I can tell. Yeah, with that said, moving on to group 2. Okay guys, so this is if you pick the clear quartz cluster. So let's get into your reading. So we have person A over here and person B over here. So person A, the energy they give off on the first impression is the Hermit, and person B gives off the Seven of Wands. So first thing I'm noticing with both of these is there's a lot of orange and yellow in this group. So I definitely like within the colors of the cards, and I always read that in this deck to represent like chakras. Yeah, so definitely there's a sense of like with the orange chakra, that's like the chakra of sexuality, and then yellow is the chakra of kind of like, I guess how solar plexus you could describe it as kind of like your power. Basically, I'm definitely seeing you guys coming together through this aspect of, and solar plexus always reminds me of money matters just because of citrine and how I see that. So I'm definitely seeing as like kind of like survival instincts kind of draw you together, and definitely a sexual attraction. Like there's definitely the first impression, you're going to be very attracted to each other, very like magnetically drawn into wanting to get down with your partner right away. So that's good. That's a very good sign. The other aspects of first impressions is person B definitely sees person A as very introverted, very like soulful almost. Kind of like the type of person who really thinks things through before they do something. Someone who has their own inner light that they could guide this person. Person A definitely sees person B as being this kind of like outcast, like this social outcast that kind of like sometimes draws a little bit of negative attention towards them, like from their group atmospheres and stuff. But for the most part, they just see them as kind of like an odd man out, basically, is the best way to put it. They don't really follow the crowd. They're kind of unique, individual in their self-expression. This is definitely someone who is kind of on a higher plane than other people. But that also can just seem that they can seem like they're different. But this person definitely sees, person A definitely sees that person B is on a higher plane of existence than other people. And that's what initially attracts them to this person, is that they seem like they're so different and unique from the crowd, but they also see them as like better than the crowd almost. They see them as kind of like special they see their uniqueness as like a special level of like spiritual attainment, essentially. Or some kind of attainment away. They value people who stand out from the crowd, really. So that's kind of what they're looking at, and they're definitely liking this right away. There's definitely a mutual attraction right away with both partners. They both like each other a lot. You definitely get that really good vibe off each other right away. So let's see where your first meeting, how that goes. Okay, so we have round and round. Round and round is all about coming to a situation in life that you've already experienced before, but you've learned lessons from. So what I'm seeing with this is that for your guys' relationship, there's kind of a situation where you both have had partners in the past, relationships in the past, like a strong relationship, where the other person that you were with in the past was very similar to your person that you're with now, but is not quite like the person you're with now. Not quite the same. First impression might be similar. I think that's why you guys like each other right off the bat, because it's kind of familiar. You kind of see that it's someone that like it's like a type, like you have this type that you're compatible with, and so things start off like that. Pretty easy in that regard. But round and round also represents a time where you are more prepared for a situation. So you may have both been in relationships in the past, or one of you, probably whoever's watching this reading, has been in relationships in the past. You both have cycled through different aspects of your lives, and you had to learn lessons again and again, or it seems like the universe is trying to teach you the same lesson again and again. And now it's like you're finally at this point where you're going to break that cycle. This is the relationship that's going to break the cycle, because you know how relationships work. You've kind of been through enough of them to finally like break the cycle and get out of this kind of spinning circular type of mentality. This is kind of that break away from your pattern. So I see you both as having those kind of patterns beforehand in your relationships, and now you're breaking away from them. Okay, let's look at the impressions that you guys get once you get to know each other. So, oh, cool. Okay, so person B definitely sees person A as a risk taker, very much a go-getter, a risk taker, an adventurer, someone who's not afraid to just like leave it all on the line and like get stuff done. Which is interesting, because at first they come off as very soulful and intelligent and maybe introverted. They're definitely more of an action-oriented person. You know, we see the motorcycle here and this guy on a full-on sprint, you know, in this hawk, seeing that bird's eye view. They definitely take in the whole picture, but they're also a risk taker. They know how to maneuver within that picture to get things and to go where they need to go and get things done. Definitely a very adventurous person, a very fast-paced person. And this is kind of like one of the things that this person B loves about this person. So the thing about person A that I like about person B, we have this interesting aspect with the devil here. Now, this is interesting because the devil usually represents addictions or obsessions, but what we're seeing here is that this person is going to be loyal, right? So loyal in almost an obsessed way. Like they find out, like person A kind of finds out that person B is almost like obsessed with them, like how much they love them, how much they're into them. And the cool thing about this is person A does not mind that. So if you're person B and you're like worried that your feelings might get a little over the top, or, you know, I don't want to say stalkerish because you probably don't stalk people. That's like really extreme. But you're definitely the type of person who falls like head over heels and like can't get over someone. And this person likes that. They see that as like commitment. They definitely see that as the type of thing that like they really are looking for, because they want someone who's not going to leave them. They definitely don't want anyone who's going to like, you know, get scared off by their energy and like bounce, you know? So they definitely see this person. They might also notice that person B kind of might have a hard time letting things go. Might have hold on to things a little too long. But in a way, this person likes that aspect of them. So let's see what glues you together. Why do you guys fall in love? So turn on your heart light. Reflect on a time when you experienced love. Okay, so this is interesting with Round and Round, because Round and Round talks about those past relationships. Turn on your heart light. Reflect on time when you experienced love. It's kind of like you guys are going to bond over these past experiences of love. This is definitely a relationship where talking about your previous relationships is really going to benefit you, because you'll really learn what that other person's been through, what they've like gone through, and how they've grown into being the person they are today, and why you guys are attracted to each other. It's kind of like knowing their mistakes and their failures. You kind of like realize that you're the best person for them, and that kind of sureness, that kind of surety in the relationship. What's that word? That kind of like, it's kind of like a committed thing, right? Like, you know that like, it's kind of like process of elimination, like because they've been through all these other options, and you know that you're the right option because of their failures, and vice versa. So definitely talking about past relationships. So reflecting on times that you both experienced love, what you liked about your past partners, what you didn't like about your past partners. Anything's going to really bond you two together, because it's really going to shed light on what you two value in each other and what you two bring to the table. You're going to start bringing things up like that. Like maybe you had a past partner where you're like, I really didn't like that they, you know, like snored or something. And then this other person's going to be like, well, I don't snore, you know? And that's just a superficial kind of thing. But it's going to go deeper and with deeper things along different lines. You know, maybe someone was like, you know, too clingy in the past or something, and this person's like, you know, maybe person B kind of had to deal with two other people being too clingy, you know, almost kind of similar to their own nature, and person A is not going to be like that, you know, and so they realize like, oh, I'm not like that, you know, I'm going to be great for you. It's kind of one of those things. Well, I really liked reading for you guys. It was a really great reading. Looks like a happy relationship. I like that the first impression, you know, you guys are going to know right off the bat. It's going to feel really good right off the bat. You're going to really admire each other at first impression. So if you like that reading, like or comment below. If you really like the reading, you could subscribe to my channel. I post pick cards like this pretty frequently. And with that said, moving on to group 3. Hello, group 3. This is if you pick the Snakeskin Agate. So we're going to have person A over here and person B over here. So let's get into the reading. So for person A, for first impressions, the white cards are first impressions. We have the Fool, and for first impressions, we have the Hierophant. Okay, so first impressions right off the bat, person A is going to see person B as someone who kind of like follows the rules, is very traditional, kind of like someone who maybe conforms to the things of society. They might see them as like blending in with the crowd, but there's a very unique aspect to this card in that there's these 2 crisscross keys in the back here. And I definitely see that you're going to know immediately that this person has the key to your heart. You know, it's kind of hard to know, but it's kind of like a normal person wouldn't be able to tell that this kind of ordinary, traditional, by the book person is going to be like their person. But for sure, you know, because you see this inside, you see this behind this hand, this kind of like hand where they're, you know, this symbol, I don't know what that symbol is, but there's definitely, I see the hand as kind of like just how they're being and behaving, and then behind it, there's like these keys, you know? So there also might be an aspect that you know this is your person by the shape of their hands, just throwing that out there, just because the hand's right there. They're definitely going to seem like someone who is like kind of like a big teddy bear. Like they're definitely like a very traditional, by the book person, definitely like a kind of like a teddy bear type, very like warm and cuddly, but also kind of like a leader. They could be spiritual, but I'm not seeing that so much. I'm just definitely seeing that they're more traditional by the book. They might blend in with the crowd. They're kind of like your everyman, everyday guy or girl. That's going to be how person A sees them. Person B, you're going to see person A was like this very carefree person, right? Definitely carefree. We have a bird in this. You're definitely going to see them with someone with perspective. They're going to have their eye out on certain issues and have a very clear way of thinking about those issues. They're definitely very carefree. They don't carry much with them. They see you as the kind of person B sees person A as the kind of person who's kind of very light on their feet, just kind of takes their personality with them wherever they go, and things just seem to work out. Kind of like a very optimistic, carefree minded person. All right, so let's see where you guys meet. So by the book, interesting. Okay, so first of all, by the book is a card that basically says do everything as everyone else does. Basically like the ultimate conforming card. So is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is like the tarot card that's like kind of like the ultimate conforming card. So I definitely see you guys in a situation where person A has to conform to person B's way of doing things. There might be a situation where person B, whatever environment they're in, I'm not picking up anything in particular. It might be maybe a work environment, but it seems like it's person B's environment, and person B is kind of in control of the environment, and they're setting the rules in this situation, and they're following the rules in this situation. Person A over here seems like they've kind of just wandered into this situation kind of on accident. And, it's just like, oh, here they are. Oh, there's this person. Wow. They have the key to my heart. That's my person. One of the things about this first meeting definitely is that we have elephants in by the book, and elephants, as you know, never forget. So you're definitely always going to remember the first time you met. There's not going to be a situation where you're like, oh yeah, we kind of met so-and-so a way ago, but we didn't really, I don't know, when did we meet? It's not going to be like that. It's going to be like, for sure, when you met the other one. I definitely see person A kind of seeing this clearly with the key thing in the background, seeing like the key to your heart is something that normally you would have to see over time in a relationship, but because this is in the first impression card, you definitely see that right away. This fool person is very aware with that bird. We see that perception, very aware. They carry that optimism with them. They kind of almost know what they want. They know what they're looking for. I see the Hierophant being a little more clueless. I don't know if you can see that bear's eyes. He's just like, what? So let's get to what you guys are like after you've known each other for a while. What do you guys find out about each other when you fall in love? So person B definitely sees person A as keeping their cards close to the vest, close to the chest. They definitely see them as holding their resources to themselves, which is interesting because at first we see this as a person who doesn't carry many resources with them. So person A might not be the type of person who has a lot of precious items that they have. They're not the type of person who has like tons of gadgets and tons of things like filled in their house. They're not like your typical hoarder. They're definitely going to be the type of person who has like a few small objects, but those small objects they keep very close to the vest. They're very careful with what they do with those objects. This could apply to like pets. This could apply to family members. This is basically just kind of the aspect of being very careful with your belongings. And then what we see here with the Emperor is we definitely see person A sees person B as a leader, kind of like a very strong, kind of like provider type. Whether this person's masculine or feminine, they're going to come off as very like secure and stable and very like a safe bet. Kind of like, it's interesting because this person seems to bring positivity wherever they go, and this person kind of provides structure in kind of a positive way. Also, they provide kind of like a structure for this person to climb on. It's kind of like this person's the monkey and this person's the jungle gym, Like this person's the monkey and this person's the tree, This person's the stable, structured one, but this person's the one that kind of like moves all around and moves all over them, Let's see. This is how you guys are going to connect and fall in love with each other. And this is a union of hearts. A love connection defies explanation. So basically, this just means that where you guys remembered when you first met each other, and that's going to be very, very clear, you won't be so clear on how you fell in love or what love means to you two. Like, you guys will know you are in love and you're literally a union of hearts, but you won't be able to explain it to people. Like, if people ever ask you, like, what's it like to be in love, or what does love feel like to you? You'll be like, I couldn't tell you, because like love literally defies explanation for us. Like it's kind of a feeling for our relationship that just, and that's kind of the thing too, is like you guys are going to find that as you start to love each other, you won't be able to explain your feelings anymore to the other one. It'll almost be like explanations get replaced with this sense of knowing, just knowing that you're in love rather than having to explain your feelings all the time. So I really hope you enjoyed that reading. I really enjoyed reading for you guys. This looks like a very fun relationship. Like or comment below if you feel so inclined. If you really like the reading, you can subscribe to my channel. I post pick cards like this pretty frequently. And with that said, moving on to group 4. Okay guys, this is if you picked the Tiffany stone. It's really purple in the light. Anyway, so let's get into your reading. This is person A and this is person B. So soulmate, first impressions. The white cards are the first impressions we have right here. Okay, so first thing right off the bat, I'm definitely seeing this interesting dynamic where you guys meet in a very unique way. This is very much more of a situation rather than like a first assessment of each other's personalities. It's kind of like what happens, which is the first impression. So for 2 of Wands right here, we definitely have a person who's very well traveled, kind of like a world traveler. Someone who plans a lot of travel trips and kind of gets everywhere over the globe, kind of. Or if they're not traveling across the globe, they just travel a lot away from their home. They don't stay at home that much. They don't really rest at home. They're kind of bouncing around all over the place, kind of like a rabbit. And that's what this person kind of sees with them. So first impression, I'm definitely noticing that person B sees person A first. That's definitely something that's coming through pretty strong. You know, they see person A wander into their territory and they're like this bright, shiny new person. And person B is like, wow, look at them. Like, they're so great. You know, person A kind of has this situation where person B kind of gets betrayed by the people in their community. So it's kind of this aspect of person B is wounded. Person B is going to come off as like, I don't want to say an outcast. They just, in the situation, the specific situation that you guys find yourself in, this person's going to have like a situation where you're going to see them get hurt, basically. This person, you're going to see them get hurt. And one of the things that's going to bond you to them is immediately, this 2 of Wands person is going to want to protect and get involved with this person and kind of save them from this hurt. They're going to see them kind of being betrayed or hurt in some way. And they're going to immediately jump right in and get involved. And that's going to be kind of like how you guys meet each other. Well, let's get into that right here. Let's see. This says a new life. Okay, so one of the things that like in how you guys meet, like this new life where she feels like she's being like freshly reborn, right? It's like person B kind of gets the shit kicked out of them quite often, unfortunately. So sorry if that's you. But yeah, they kind of just like, look at this deer with all these arrows in their back. They kind of take it, you know, hard all the time. Like as far as like people giving them, you know, shit and stuff like that. So, but person A kind of like seeing this happen to them, like specifically in this moment, seeing this happen, jumps in, gets involved and protects person B. Now, that's really wonderful because it gives this sense of a new life when you guys like meet each other. It's like instant connection, right? It's like the beginning of a new chapter and it's just going to get better from here. You're going to feel like free, like, oh my God, someone finally came to my rescue. Or, oh my goodness, like, you know, like I finally, this person actually may not be that courageous, but because they've never seen someone in this situation, you know, where they've been hurt like this right in front of them and seen that they could help, you know, it's going to be the type of hurt that person A can feel like they can fix right away, right? So immediately person A gets involved in the situation with person B. Yeah, they fix it right off the bat. It's really cohesive. It's really easy. And that first impression is that first bond, right? Where you guys get into that situation where you really connect with each other right away. And this new life, just like, it changes both of you. So it's not just that person B gets saved, which is kind of a great thing that, you know, if you have someone stand up for you, like out of the blue, that's a really great thing. But it's even more great. Person A's story is even more great because they get to be courageous for the first time in their life. You know, they might just be this kind of very experience-driven person, you know, not really thinking too much. They've probably like seen aspects of their heroic nature in their life at some point, like little points in time and stuff, or imagined it, but this kind of ignites the hero within them. Interesting. That's the very very strong first impression. Very like strong connection right off the bat. This new life is just bursting with energy. So I definitely see this as like an epiphany when you guys first meet. Like that's the situation, is this like epiphany of your new life together. Let's see after you meet each other for a while. Okay, so this is interesting. So, person B sees person A as someone who can kind of relax. But here's the thing. Okay, here's the interesting thing. This Eight of Swords card and this Four of Swords card, they both have strings, right? The Eight of Swords card is like tied up in strings that, like, all these birds, if you think of these birds as kind of like external factors or forces, they're kind of like tied up in strings, right? But as you see here with this woman, it's just her perception that she's tied up. She's not really tied up. She's just looking at her reflection and seeing herself as tied up. So it's kind of like her perception of her problems kind of creates her problems. And that's kind of what person A sees about person B eventually. But the interesting thing here is that person A finds it really easy and comfortable, and like part of their like heart's purpose, to deal with untangling these cords for person B. You know, it's kind of like these mental gymnastics. Like if you know the Eight of Swords, it's like a typical self-imposed belief system that gets in your way. Really, you can remove this belief system easily, but sometimes it's a little more difficult than that. And what we see here with the Ten of Swords, it actually causes this person some anguish, kind of like gets them into trouble sometimes by their kind of negative view of themselves or their perception of themselves. But person A definitely sees this as like a challenge and something that they like help build up person B. Like they definitely help build person B up. At least that's what I'm seeing. There's actually some things in here that are like, it's a little interesting. This reading is very integrated. Like both sides are very integrated. I see this couple as being very close to each other, very connected. Some soulmate relationships are very independent from one another. The couples kind of have separate lives and stuff like that. These two people are going to be, you guys are going to be very integrated. You might have the same passion, the same interests, the same lifestyle. You'll be spending a lot of close contact with each other. And if you don't think you're going to be like that, like person A especially might not think they're going to be like that because they're so experience driven and all over the place with like where they're traveling to and stuff. They probably don't think they're going to be able to settle down. But the thing is like, it's kind of this weird catharsis where them kind of like untangling these cords of person B kind of creates that relaxation and rest they need to settle down. And then also the person B gets to be untangled and feel liberated and kind of feel more like this person A in the long run, where they get to be free and wander around the world and feel safe in the world. So let's see where you guys connect your love connection. So the heart of the matter, there is more going on than meets the eye. Yeah, this is definitely a complicated relationship, right? So as far as even your love is concerned, I feel like you guys are going to be having a hard time describing it. And also it's going to be very difficult for people on the outside to see how this love works, because it's a very unique way of love operating in a couple. So yeah, there's more going on than meets the eye. Yeah, this is definitely an interesting relationship. People aren't going to be open and know what's going on in this relationship. So this whole untying of, you know, these beliefs that this person has and kind of untying them and relaxing and the solving of the problems of this person, you know, they might see this defense thing come up a couple times, but it's like once you're integrated with your soulmate, a lot of this stuff changes. Like this person gets freed and seems more like this first impression. And this person who like kind of is like sleeping soundly in this web of problems, this kind of cord, I don't know if you can see that, this cord in the nest from the heart, they're definitely kind of taking all of these like self-imposed arrows and just kind of like sleeping with them. So there's definitely a lot of integration. There's more going on than meets the eye. That's because this is such a closed unit. This relationship is such a closed, very like protective, nurturing union. You know, it's a very like bonding kind of relationship. It's not kind of like a casual relationship. It's very intimate and very intense. So I hope you guys like that reading. If you did, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, you can subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this pretty frequently. I really enjoyed reading for you guys. You guys have a beautiful relationship, like probably the definition of soulmates. Like if someone like wanted to invent the term or like thought of the idea of soulmates, like you guys definitely set the standard here. So that's good. You guys are gonna have a very happy union. Yeah, with that said, that's the last reading for the readings for today. Goodbye, and I will see you guys in the next pick a card.